Hi everyone, I'm Linda Taylor from Banjo's Beat House and welcome to Christmas Lights Earrings. So this is a fun little project that was inspired by a recent viewing of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. And it brought back memories of all the old-fashioned lights that you used to have to screw in and test. And I grew up with those lights on my Christmas tree and thought it'd be fun to bring back a little bit of nostalgia in the form of an earring. So you can see I'm already wearing a pair and I'm going to take you through everything you need to do to make a pair for yourself. So let's take a look at the requirements for these little earrings. So that's very simple. And this is also a very beginner friendly project. You will need some 7 by 5 millimeter faceted glass drops. You'll need 12 of them if you're going to follow 6 on each earring as I've done. You can use all clear, you could use clear AB, you could use any kind of color you want. These were the colors that I had available as I was playing around with this concept. You will need some size 8 Rocailles or rounds, or you may know them as seed beads. I've used Miyuki Jericho Gold here, which is the 4202 color. And you'll need 24 of those. You'll need 12 51 millimeter head pins. You'll need a pair of ear hooks of your choosing. So you can see in the graphic there, I've used a little bow design one, and I've also used a standard little French hook, and that's what I'll be using today. For tools, you'll need a pair of chain nose pliers to help you assemble everything. And if you don't have a looper tool, you'll need a pair of round nose pliers and a cutter in order to create the loops. But for the video today, I am using my very favorite tool, the looper tool. So if you've never used one before, now is your chance to see one in action as well. So I'm going to tip you down and we'll take a look at everything. So you can see some finished samples here. I've got a sample of the one on the ear hook, and I've got my other ear hook here. I've got my other 6 head pins waiting here to go with these 6 beads, some size 8 seed beads or rounds or rocailles ready to go. I've got the bow sample here, and I'm doing this one in a slightly different color option. Whilst I have the white and the blue close to the top, the rest is all a little mixed up. And I've got some little figure eights that I'm going to show you, and we actually use those to make the chain that holds all of this together. And these are really handy to have in your little stash if you just need a little extender, and you just use your scrap head pins to make them. And so they're really easy to do with the looper tool. So I'm going to clear these guys out of the way, but I might leave him there so I've got a reference so I can actually make my other pair the same. So you'll need to use your head pins, and we're going to pick up our looper tool if you've never seen one before. If you've got the yellow handle, the 2.25 millimeter loop, you could certainly use that for this, but this is my go-to one. So we are going to, and I might do these in the order following here. We are just going to slide on with the skinnier end, so the fatter end of our drop bead goes all the way to the bottom. And then we just need 2 of our seed beads, and they're kind of like the section that's your light bulb, and this is where you used to screw in your light bulbs to the strand of lights. That's kind of the rationale behind this design. I am setting that up in my looper tool. So the cutter is actually here. The excess wire has gone through the hole, and you'll see I've just got my fingernail there. That's just so I get a nice close loop without actually damaging the top of that seed bead. I have broken crystals and things before, so I tend to try and do that. I'm going to demonstrate all of those, and then I'll come back and use my scraps to show you how you do the figure eight. So the next color in this sequence will be the green, and we'll grab our 2 little seed beads and we'll set that up again and take away our excess, and there is our second color. Our next color in this little run is my little red. It's a bit of an orangey red, but will still work. Get our 2 seed beads, set up our looper tool. So you may not always get a perfect loop every single time. It's just one of those things. It does take practice to get there, but it's definitely easier than having to do all of these turns by hand. So it is worth the investment. That is our yellow. So we just have 2 more to go. Oops, our next color is the lovely dark blue. So we've got our 2 beads on. And there is our blue. Get our little offcuts out of the way. And lastly, we have our lovely bright orange. Oops, that seed bead did not want to play ball. That's okay. So we've got our lovely orange now set up in the tool, and he is now all looped. So we've got our 6 little loops, and now we need to make our chain using our scrap. Now I've got enough made up, but I said I'd show you how to do it. So as I said earlier, this part here is your cutter. So you just want to set up your little off-cut edge just past the cutter, and you're going to create a loop just like we did. I like to bend mine back just a little bit so it's coming out kind of straight in line with that hole, and slide him off. And so I've got a perfect eye pin now. So you could go away and put another bead on here and use that perfectly fine. I'm going to make little links. And so to do that, I'm threading that back in just like we did before. I'm setting my loop up with the loop going around to here to sit on the edge. And then I'm just closing it. So it's just now created a nice little figure 8. Tap out my excess now. I struggle holding that in my fingers to try and get that off. So whilst it's still in the plier, I like to gently release and use my flat nose or my chain nose pliers to grab that. And at the same time, you can slide that little figure 8 down your pliers and just give him a little squeeze, and that just flattens him up. And so he's ready to use. So it's very simple to make your little figure 8 out of some scraps. And yeah, great way to create a little piece you can use as a little link, which we're about to do. So we are going to grab the first of ours and use our chain nose pliers, and you want to tip this towards you so that everything does not fall away. So I've got my first link and I'm threading on my white bead because that's what I've got on the bottom of the other one. You can do this however you choose to. So that's the fun of this little design. There is no right or wrong. It's all about the joy of how you want your low lights to look. So we're opening up our next one. And before I do anything, I'm going to thread the top ring from my previous one and then slide on my next color. And that was green, yes. Wasn't paying full attention, and I'm just going to set that down. I want to set it down in a way that I can easily pick it up with my pliers to do my build, and we'll grab our next little loop. So tipping that up, and my next color is my red. So we've got our bead on, except we did bead on second. So there you go. I've already made a little boo-boo, which I'm trying to avoid. So we're threading on, and you can see it was easy to pick up with our pliers. Threading on our little link. I mean, it really doesn't matter if you put it on first. It just tends to sit nicer if you do it consistently all the same. So we're going back again, opening up our next color in to match the one I've already got made is yellow. So we've got our, whoops, see, I did it again. I just naturally want to put the bead on first. So we've got it wired up, and then we're just twisting close. I'm just going to give that a little squeeze. Maybe this one I'll get right the first go. Okay, so we are twisting up and we are picking up and threading on. So having that in your, being able to pick that up with your plier does just make it easier to handle when these guys are really, really, really tiny. If you can't get it completely closed, like I'm having trouble with that one, just getting it in and smushing it will help. It's not going to come off that loop because it's too thick to anyway, but it's about getting it flat so you don't have it so it's going to get caught in your hair more than anything. Okay, and we've got one more to go. So we'll just twist our loop open. We're going to grab our little stash, grab our last bead, and twist close. And that is my little series of dangly lights on their little chain. So no need to actually use chain. You've created your own, which makes this really easy, and you're reducing your waste because you're recycling all of your cutoffs. So I'm just tipping open my ear hook, grabbing my end, sliding on and twisting close. And there is my earring. So in a matter of about 10 minutes or less, you've made one of your earrings. So in under 20 minutes, you can have your pair of Christmas light earrings ready to go and shine and sparkle this holiday season. Sorry, not series. I hope you have enjoyed our little project today. And if you'd like to see more from the Banjo's Bead House team, we hope you will visit our website, visit us on subscribe, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye for now.